Well, everything is in such reverse that it's going to be kind of a given that the person you least expect, or you think is going to know, is going to know. In fact, I'll go as far to say that I've had to bite the bullet and listen to some guy I think is an asshole, or some woman I think is a bitch, because I know that rule. It's always where you least suspect it. The other problems we have are numerous. See, you don't listen to people like me, and even though what I just said was true, but you don't live like that. So let me explain something to you. I don't have much credibility with you for the stupidest of reasons. And the thing is, America is dying. It's been warned. It's tried to solve this problem. And then it makes weird mistakes. But patience. I assure you that if it's not too late already, listen to me now. What America is going to die of in this world, because it's not our world, it's a big world. America as a whole is going to die because of an addiction problem. This addiction makes it behave in very bad ways. It's not a victimless crime. They kill for their drug. They lie for their drug. They do anything they can to get that drug. And what is that drug? It's called money. Now, I want to hear in a big loud voice the response every single one of you addicts says when I tell you you have too much money. Why are you always going for money? Why do you always want just money? What do you say? Well, we have to have money. Why? Well, then we'll die. How will we be able to pay for everything? That's right. So when you come to other people right now, and you think you're going to help them with their addiction, and it's not money. In fact, they're probably poor by choice, because drugs don't cost so much money. Your addictions made you lie to yourself, because you won't find one single person who's homeless who's there because they spent every single penny that they had on drugs. You ain't going to find any drugs in homeless people. Well, then go and prove it, but you're too scared to talk to them. You think it's because they might attack you. It's because you don't want to know the fucking truth. So when you fix your addiction, then you can come talk to me about my addiction. Because I admit it. And you better admit that I'm in a tough position. Because it sounds crazy to you, but then again, you don't really have much rational thought. I don't kill people for my addiction. I'm not responsible for invading other countries for my addiction. It is a victimless crime, except it's not, because I'm going to have to pay the price for my addiction. But I have to be in addiction. Why? Because otherwise I'll die. That's why the doctors prescribe me medications that other doctors think, well, this is a drug of an addict. He has to have something or he'll die. Now, see, you don't believe that, so you need to sit on there and marinate on that. And you know you will lose on that. And you don't understand why it is this dipshit is able to know that kind of shit. And yet, historically, what has happened? It's always been that dipshit that's been right. It just takes you 10 years to fucking figure it out. So, even if it's looks or whatever it is, in another you guys are addicted to bullshit. You live your life on the magazine covers as a supermarket checkout line. So one rule of thumb, if you want to catch up, is don't go for what you think is right, because not one time in history, and that's a long history, it's the only thing that matters, it's the only thing that teaches you. Every teacher you've seen, everything that you know has come from someone else going through that experience and passing on that lesson to the future. Sometimes there's anomalies. And if my generation is not an anomaly to you, if those that between ages of 40 and 60 are being denied running the country that they are entitled to. Every other generation is. It's just the way it works. We don't want to because we know it's corrupted by you guys. So we're teaching you a lesson and suffering for it. So if you don't expect some sort of violent yelling or repercussion or a school shooting because you don't fucking listen because you think you know it all, and you probably know I'm right, but you don't give a fuck. That's the drugs. Because you have more than enough money. You don't know what it's like. You don't know other cultures. You pretend like you do, but then when some knucklehead gets up there that sort of represents not liking other colors and cultures, you all come out of the woodwork where there's no real life shit going on and say, he tells the truth, he speaks his mind. He may speak his mind, but he's not telling you the truth. He's not telling you what it really is. The problem is, it's not your fault. If you're scared of big cities, if you're scared to be around the people of this world, well then you need to deal with that and stay out of our business. You shouldn't even be given a right to vote. I'm being serious. And it's so ironic that we restrict the right to vote to people who what? Have gone through the system, who know it better than you do. And now it's time to pay. I mean, you want us to have to pay again for you. Because we paid for our knowledge, and we're sharing it with you. That's your answer. So you want to come down on me for having to deal with you in the way that doesn't hurt anyone else because we care. But you don't. See, I say I don't give a fuck, I don't care. But the fact of the matter is, my pocketbook and my reputation says otherwise. And if you say, bullshit, you yelled at me and you were mean to me, well, what exactly are you doing? See, I'm a slave. But at least it's not to the devil. And you can tell that's true because I'm broke. God doesn't give a fuck about you having money. The money system that was introduced on this planet was introduced by those gods that are not gods that you worship. You take pictures of them, but they won't even show up in the pictures right. They don't have any dominion over this planet. This planet belongs to God. But you want to change that and give it over to like aliens. So you believe in aliens, but you don't believe in God. And someone would say, well, I've seen an alien. How am I supposed to believe that? I've seen God. There's nothing about your behavior that implies you've ever seen shit. In me? Shit. How the fuck do you get some gangbanging white kid who's doing drugs out of LA all of a sudden overnight? Like a brain surgeon. I heard that story, the brain surgeon making all that money. They have near-death experiences. What happens to them when they see the light? They quit their job and they go and they work for free like in Africa. Every single time that you make fun of these people that you don't believe, that have gone through some life-changing experience, which is aka seeing God, they have such a jolt to their system that they change their entire lives and basically give it away. Well, you have the audacity to say, God, what an idiot. He was so weak-minded. He just believes anything. No, the problem is you don't believe shit. You think you know it all. If I don't believe it, then it's not true. Yeah, right. I'd never say that. I have never once said that. I said, show it to me and prove it to me. And when I do prove it to you, you're so programmed in career skeptics, you deny it. That's the mistake. So you're going to find out 10, 20 years that the Roman Empire, the United States, is going to collapse because of you. There's books that told you they would send you warners. They would send you messengers that would guide you, instruct you, and warn you. And it's gotten to the point that you're so fucking blind, you won't believe that. Wait, you're telling me that fucking dork was a messenger of God? Yes, we all are. Well, if you're a dork and a loser. Because down here, this is the devil's world. And you're not doing anything to change that. You're going along with it. And that's a problem. Why? Because this world doesn't belong to the devil. He just took it. And someone's coming to claim it back. So fix your fucking shit. And realize I ain't doing anything wrong. And if you want to compare your words to my words and see who's right or wrong, which you don't do, Mr. Yeah, sure, there's chemtrails. Yeah, sure, there's global warming. Yeah, sure, there's HARP. You always think it's a conspiracy. When hasn't it been? My entire life, every major news story has had a conspiracy behind it. And someone has made a bunch of money off of you believing that bullshit. And a bunch of people have died for you believing that bullshit. So you want to blame the government, and yet you yourself are trying to be like the government and say that you know it all. But you won't ever catch me saying that I know it all. So where does the buck stop? Where's the right person? The one who accepts that. Like they say, when you know everything, you realize you know nothing. Now, that's not saying they know nothing. Why would they know nothing if they know everything? Because that's what you need to accept. Eventually, someone's going to know more than you and be better than you. So don't pretend or act like you know more than they do. But you have every right in the world, as a teacher, if they're not listening, don't hurt them. They'll claim it, but show them what they don't know. And you just want to gloss over that generation, don't you? There's no denying that. If there's one proof that we are the generation of messengers, it's you don't want to ever listen to us. It's bizarre. And they're supposed to be running the country. They are running the country. They're just not in the White House doing it. Because, see, our vote doesn't count. We told you that. But it does up there.